Hi, I'm JJ. I'm super excited to be here. I want to tell you my story. It started when I was 7 years old. I used to go in the kitchen with my Puerto Rican grandmother, and her kitchen would smell like cumin, coriander seeds. She would have these swinging pots and pans, and she would scream at me saying, "Get the rice, grab the rice, step on the stool, wash the rice." I was about this tall. I used to have to step on this stool and wash this rice. She would whisper in my ear and say, "You know these are the foods that you do not like to eat." They would be beets, purple yams, grapefruit, patty pan squash. I used to slice the grapefruit and go in the corner and pour sugar on top and eat it behind her back. She was an amazing cook, but I was this typical American kid. My mom, I used to live with my mom and my dad around the corner. My mom used to make barbecue chicken and lasagna. Those were the things I used to love to eat. But as a kid, I would tell my mom, "Hey, I want to be a chef." And she would say, "No, you should be a politician. You should be a doctor. You should be a lawyer. You know moms, they want the best for you." Years later, I didn't take my mom's advice, and I went to the Culinary Institute of America. I call it the food factory. We all dressed the same. We did everything the same. We talked the same. We would cook celery and onions the same. We even would roast chicken the same. There was no way to think outside the box. This was the only way of thinking. There was a great foundation because you have to have foundation before you can do what you want to do. The foundation was great. I loved the Culinary Institute of America. I graduated. I worked at great places of Tribeca Grill and Jane, The Smith, Tropica. But years later, I met my mentor, Alexander Smalls, and he took me on this excursion to Ghana. We were there for 16 days, and those 16 days, I was there to cook themed American dinners. And that's all I went there to do, was to cook. I needed to take over this kitchen with Ghanaian cooks. I had no idea if they had the same food factory thoughts that I had or culinary skills. So I went in the kitchen the first day. We were there to prep Thanksgiving. I handed out all these prep sheets. They looked at me with array. I worked with each one of them individually. But I remember this kid in the corner, Miguel, he was making this dish, and I'm looking over his shoulder with my pad, and I'm saying, "Miguel, what are you cooking?" He says, "I'm cooking peri-peri." What is peri-peri? I've never heard of this. And he goes, "It's onions, garlic powder, onion powder, bird-eye chili. We blend it." He then took that mix and rubbed it on these prawns. The prawns were larger than my hands. We roasted them in the oven. They came out, I ate these prawns, and I began to sweat. I was on fire. They started to laugh at me. It was super spicy. And they said to me, "Heat here and spice here it makes you sweat." So this was the moment when food became one between me and the Ghanaian cooks. We were able to speak the same language. They started to cook better with me, or maybe I started to cook better with them. But it was that moment, that click moment. We wind up going to the markets every day. The first day we went to the market, I remember tapping Miguel because he was like my new homie, hitting him like, "This looks like Union Square." And he's looking at me like, "Union Square?" And I'm thinking, I'm going to see all these celebrities, and we're going to pick vegetables together. You know, it's like Union Square, it's bragging rights. You shop there, you come back to your house, and you say, "Hey, I grabbed this apple," and Robert De Niro was grabbing the same apple I was grabbing, and now it's the Robert De Niro salad. But this was just the way of life. Every day you go to the market and you shop for food. There was no class, there was no bragging rights. This was the way. You went to the market, you picked what you wanted to pick, and you went back to the kitchen, and we did this every day. And then I thought to myself while I was there, flavors were similar. They played music in the background. My grandmother used to play salsa music when I was in the kitchen. She made it fun. And there was these moments of remembrance. But then it became deeper than that. It became this, hold on. Slaves were the culinary game changer. And when I first learned this, it was really hard for me to say that. But wherever slaves migrated, they changed the culinary game. And I give the first take is, the Chinese and the Vietnamese came into Western Africa and invaded. And while they were there, they dropped off all this rice and all these noodles. And you might laugh, but now Western Africa is the second largest consuming rice region in the world to China. Just Western Africa. We're not even talking the whole Africa, just Western Africa. Or as I like to say, I like to take gumbo. We all love gumbo. But it didn't start in New Orleans. It started in Senegal because slaves migrated to New Orleans and also to South Carolina, but it originated in Senegal, culinary game changers. Or I like to take a dish I grew up on and I still make today is pastelas. You know, smash yams and yuca. Then you fold it in with chicken or pork or beef or shrimp. You put in a banana leaf and you boil it. That started in Ghana. When I was in Ghana, I had this dish. And now you see it in Dominican Republic and in Puerto Rico. And then even a little deeper, we see tamales in Mexico. It just changed through the course. They found masa, but the same way. Pork, chicken, wrapped in a banana leaf and boiled for a couple of hours. But I think my key moment when I was in Ghana, my food factory moment was, I was on a guinea hen farm. And these guinea hens are running all around my feet. And I hear this French chef in the background saying, guinea hen, the bird of France. And I'm like, this is impossible. All these guinea hens are running around me. It doesn't make sense. But that's what I was told in the food factory. That was this in-the-box thinking, and then it clicked again. Guinea hen, Guinea, Western Africa, that's where guinea hens were from. But it shows you that slaves were the culinary game changer. They changed the way the French were eating. I love Ghana. I love this story. I just felt like to let you guys know that. But I'm super thankful in life. Super thankful for my grandmother, the food I hated as a kid, but she was an amazing cook. Super thankful for culinary school, the foundation, CIA. I'm super thankful for Ghana, the inspiration of the way I cook today. It's like when I became one, I really started to call myself a chef. Started building flavors, but beyond flavors. And right now, I'm thankful for being the chef at the Cecil, right here in Harlem. And the reason why I'm thankful for being there is because I'm really able to cook the food of my heritage. And then I'm able to celebrate the culinary game changers through the spices and the food while I was there. And they have migrated around the world, and they were able to change the culinary scene around the world. And today, I'm able to change the culinary scene right here in New York City, right here in Harlem. So thank you.